I call this meeting to order. At any time during the course of the meeting, the board may retire to executive session under Texas Government Code, Section 551071072 and 074. Call roll.
Mary Hernandez, present.
Armin Garza, present.
Alex Cantu, present.
Claudia Ochoa, present.
S.P. Ochoa, present. Dr. Science, I do declare a quorum. It is 6:03.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Ms. Nereida Cantu is absent today due to a class that she's attending, and Oscar Coach Salinas will probably join us a few minutes late. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Today, we have a student from E.B. Reina Elementary that's going to be leading us in the pledge. Her name is Carla Lopez. Welcome, Carla. Carla is an outstanding young lady who is a fifth grade student at E.B. Reina Elementary. Carla is an active participant in UIL who loves competing in oral reading. She is a member of El Grupo Folclórico Juvenil from Palmview, where she performs at various events throughout the valley. She loves to dance her heart out with E.B. Reina Mini Rubies. Last but not least, Carla is a student council representative who is making a difference in her school and her community. She is an inspiring role model to her peers. Her proud parents are Ana Yancy and Hector Lopez. Carla will now lead us in the pledge, if everyone will please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Carla. You did an amazing job. And will Carla's family please stand so we can recognize you? Thank you, Carla.
We will go on to approval of minutes. Can I entertain a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second that.
A motion with Armin and Ms. Hernandez as second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Superintendent report, Dr. Science?
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. The superintendent report will start with the enrollment report as of October the 1st, 2019. We had 12,802 elementary students, 14,345 secondary students, for a total of 27,147 students, which is 840 students less than we had last year at this time. Now, we have recognition of human resource personnel in honor of Texas Education Human Resources Day. If y'all will please step up, and if we could have Ms. Ochoa, Board President, and Ms. Hernandez, Board Vice President, do these recognitions for us. Governor Greg Abbott has proclaimed October 9th as Texas Education Human Resources Day. This day is set aside to recognize and honor the important contributions made by personnel who work in human resources. Our human resources personnel work hard each day to ensure that our schools are staffed with high-quality employees and that employees have a good environment in which to work. And we'll begin our recognitions with Claudia Garcia, Human Resource Clerk. She's not present today. Abby Quinn-Nike, Human Resource Clerk. Norma Hinojosa, Service Record Clerk. Nora Peña, Certification Specialist. Valentina Canizales, Personnel Specialist. Soy La Reina, Personnel Specialist. Laura Rodriguez, Personnel Specialist. Sabina Lopez, Human Resources Secretary. Cynthia Luna, Assistant Superintendent Secretary for Human Resources. Arcelia Alvarez, Human Resources Coordinator. Claudia Davila, Human Resources Coordinator. Rosa Gonzalez, Human Resources Director. Angel Canales, Human Resources Accountant. Rosa M. Rodriguez, HR Personnel Specialist Supervisor. Gloria Rodriguez, Executive Director for Human Resources. And Mr. Martin Munoz, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Congratulations, everyone. And thank you all for the amazing job that you do every single day. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, HR. All of you look really sharp. Under discussions, discussion on comparison and financial savings in teacher absence for first 6 weeks in recognition of the 3 campuses with the highest teacher attendance.
Mr. Munoz, our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, will do this report.
Madam President, Madam Superintendent, ladies and gentlemen of the board, and distinguished guests, it's my honor to recognize the differences that we've had in our staff attendance during the first 6 weeks, thanks to the decisions you made earlier this year when you did the teacher attendance protocol. So today we're going to be going over and presenting some of the differences that we've had and the financial cost that our district accrues whenever there's an absence. On your screens, you can see how much we're paying for our substitutes whenever a teacher is absent. To pay for a substitute that has a high school diploma, we're being charged $88.90. To pay for a substitute that has a college degree, we pay $107.95. To pay for a certified teacher substitute, it's $133.35. And to pay for an experienced certified teacher substitute, it's $162. Last year, we ended up paying over $2.5 million. I think the total cost was $2,534,713. That was the total summary for the whole school year. So when a teacher is absent, something that we need to keep in mind is that not only do we have to pay the substitute, we're also paying for the teacher, right? So those costs are magnified when you also add the teacher cost. So earlier this year, you approved the district teacher attendance protocol, and we wanted to take this time to show what effect it's had already. So during the first 6 weeks, last year we had 3,970 absences for the first 6 weeks. This year, the total was 2,662. So there's a difference of 1,308 substitute or less absences that we've had this year for the first 6 weeks. So when it comes to financial savings, the low end, if we were paying for just the regular substitutes, the 8890, we would have saved, or we could have saved, $116,281.20. The high end, if we were paying for certified teacher substitutes, the cost could have, savings would be $211,896. We're giving you the low and the high because we still haven't received the invoice from Region 1. We should be getting that invoice soon, and we'll know what the actual difference has been, right? But right now, we're working within a difference of between $116,000 and $211,000 when it comes to savings. And this is just the financial savings. Of course, there's academic benefits as well, because nothing beats having a certified teacher and a child's teacher in the classroom, right? So we wanted to thank you for those new initiatives that you implemented this school year, because we're seeing the dividends, both financial and academic as well. Now, we wanted to take the time to also recognize our 3 winning campuses. Part of the new incentive protocol that we implemented was that we were going to be recognizing our 3 schools that had the highest or the lowest teacher absent rates during our board meetings. So for the first 6 weeks, which
Excuse
covered...
me, Mr. Munoz,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
call on Mr. Salinas, School Board Secretary, to recognize these principals, and Mr. Armin Garza?
And for the record, Oscar Coach Salinas arrived at 6:12 p.m. Thank you.
So for the monthly campus challenge, the 3 winners for elementary, we had William J. Clinton STEM Elementary. So we would like to recognize Ms. Alma Perez. For the top middle school, we had Lorenzo de Zavala Middle School, Dr. Uresti. And the top high school was the Academy of Health and Science, Ms. Leanne Herrera. So congratulations to our top 3 schools. These 3 schools will be receiving a luncheon being served by the cabinet. Dr. of Science and the rest of the superintendents will be going there to serve the lunch. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz. I do want to congratulate these 3 schools and also thank all of the principals in our district who made teacher attendance a priority the first 6 weeks, cutting our teacher absences by 1,300. So thank you, and then also thank you to the Human Resources Department for implementing this plan.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next item under discussion of first 6 weeks average daily attendance.
This report will be done by Dr. Adriana Villarreal, who is our Executive Director for Attendance and Community Engagement.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Science. The primary responsibility of our department has been to assist campuses with their attendance, and the reason that I'm here is to present you with the information or the data for first 6 weeks and where we stand as a district. before I give you that data, I want to go ahead and start off with, in conjunction with principals from the campuses, central office personnel has gone ahead and decided on establish some goals for our Head Start. It's 92% attendance goal. Elementary and middle school campuses, it's a 97.5 attendance goal. High schools are at 95, or that's the goal. Early college, STEM, and health professions, high school, 98%, and Hope and West Academy, 90%. So this was done in conjunction with campus administration. And I'm happy to announce that at the end of the first 6 weeks, every single elementary and Head Start met their goal, 97.5 or higher. Some of them exceeded it. We have campuses who are at 99%. So that was awesome. And the protocol incentive that was established with the district to go ahead and give each campus $1 for every student enrolled at their school. Every one of these campuses received that amount based on their enrollment. So if I'm a principal at a campus and I have a total of 700 students, I've received $700. And so the principals were thrilled with that. They were recognized at the last principals meeting, and here's their little celebration. So then we move on to the next one. This is our middle schools. All the ones that are highlighted in green met the goal of 97.5 or higher, which is Chavez Middle School, Memorial, and Garcia Middle School. The ones that are in yellow were very, very close to meeting the goals, so we kind of wanted to give them a little bit of motivation, a little pep talk, so maybe next 6 weeks they can go ahead and reach that goal of 97.5. The Zavala Middle School ended up with 97.27, Salinas Middle School 97.13, Trevino Middle School with 97.12. So congratulations to all of these campuses as well. And then we look at the high schools. In the category of the high schools, remember everyone has a different attendance goal. And so Thelma R. Salinas is the only one that met the goal for the high school category at 98.34. Their goal was 98%, and they exceeded that goal. The ones that are in yellow, of course, came very close. Palmview High School has a goal of 95%, and they were at 93.18. Jimmy Carter Early College High School had a goal of 98, they were at 97.23. La Jolla Early College High School had a 97.56, but their goal was 98%. And the Academy of Health and Science, 96.54. So we're also motivating these campuses so that maybe we can have more secondary campuses achieving those goals next 6 weeks. And here's their celebration from the principals' meeting. So the cumulative attendance for the first 6 weeks, we went ahead and broke it down. Week 1, week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The cumulative right now for the school district at the end of first 6 weeks is 96.32. Of course, we want to be a lot higher than that, but we're pushing ourselves and pushing the campuses to make sure that they meet their goals so that our overall cumulative attendance can be a lot higher than this. These are the amount of monies that every campus received. So at Thelma Salinas, they received $400 because that's how many students they had, so on and so forth. And then I went ahead and wrote on there what their attendance rate was. So that was for a total of, that the district gave out, $15,004. Now I want to do a comparison. Last year, 2018, end of first 6 weeks, we had a total of 35,179 absences. The estimated cost was $1,406,800. The end of this 6 weeks, first 6 weeks for 2019, we had a total of 30 absences, We had a total of 30,628 absences with an estimated cost of $1,225,120. If you look at the difference, we had a total of 4,542 less absences the first 6 weeks of this year than we did of last year. So giving us a total savings of $181,680 for our first 6 weeks. And hopefully we can continue with this momentum and continue saving the district money. On average, La Jolla ISD had 757 less student absences per week for this first 6 weeks. So something to just point out, La Jolla School District is currently operating with an estimated 840 less students than last school year. And in spite of these lower enrollment numbers, we have shown an increase in the total ADA, the average daily attendance. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Villarreal.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you all are doing.
Thank you, Dr. Villarreal. And again, I want to thank all our principals in the district because they have really stressed attendance, and we all know that every day counts at La Jolla ISD, so thank you to all our principals.
Thank you. We'll move on to discussion of 2019-2020 District Improvement Plan goals.
I will discuss some of the goals that are going to be included in our district improvement plan. And Dr. Molly Ramon from our Instructional Resource Technology Department is going to guide us through because, board members, it is a busy page. I'm going to stress some of the goals, and Dr. Ramon will be pointing at the ones that I'm talking about. So beginning with third grade STAR reading, last year we had a performance of 78%, and our goal for the approaches level is 88%. In fifth grade, we had a performance of 89% at approaches level, and this year our goal is to reach 94% in reading in fifth grade. In eighth grade last year, we had a 77% passing rate, and our goal this year for approaches is 87%. We have similar goals, as you can see, for every grade level in writing and math. And then towards the bottom of the page, our end of course, English 1, we were at 52%. The 60 that you see there was our goal for the year. We had 52%, and our goal for this coming year is 62%. For English 2, performance was at 54%. Our goal for this coming year is 64%. And just a note on that, in the region, English 1 was at 62%, and English 3 was at English 2 was at 63%. So even though those are lower performance, we were a little bit lower than the region still, who is in the low 60s. In Algebra 1, which is one of our strengths, we were at 91% at the approaches level, and our goal is to reach 93%. In biology, we performed at 82% passing, and our goal for this year is 92%. In U.S. history, our performance was at 89%, and our goal is to reach 94%. Going on to the next page, on page 2, it's a little bit, yes. Under the student achievement domain, which measures the performance of kids at approaches, meets, and masters and college readiness, we were at 81%, which was a B level. Our goal is to reach 93, which will be the A. In domain 2, which is school progress and measures that at least every student is making at least 1 year growth, and how are our campuses performing compared to campuses that have the same level of economic disadvantaged students. We were at 91% last year, which was the A, and our goal is 93%. And then in domain 3, which is the closing the gaps domain, and this one measures the progress of EL, special ed, Hispanic students against certain measures that they have to reach. We were at 81, and our goal is at 82. So overall, this year, we were at 88%, and our goal is to reach the 90%, which is the A rating. The next page, you can see that for EL students, we have very specific targets for English language learners by grade and by subject also. The next page, you see for our special education students, we also have very specific targets by subject and by grade. I won't go into those, but Board of Trustees, you have those. Going on to page 6. We also have very specific goals for early reading. For example, in kindergarten, last year we had 80% of our kids developed in phonemic awareness, which is distinguishing sounds and patterns. Our goal is that 90% of our kindergarten kids will be at the developed level in this area. In graphophonemic knowledge, which is phonics, we had 95% of our kindergarten students at the developed level, and our goal is that 97% of them will be at that level. In listening skills, 83% of our kindergarten kids were at the developed level, and our goal is that 90% of them. And you see, that's for our students that receive English instruction, and we have similar goals for our students that receive Spanish instruction. Further down in the page, you see our fluency goals, and fluency is important because it's a major factor in reading comprehension. Last year, for example, we had 82% of our kindergarten students reading between 25 and 30 words correct per minute, and our goal this year is that 90% of our kindergarten students are going to read between 25 and 30 words correct per minute, and we have those goals for all our elementary students. In the next page, you see that we have goals for the amount of independent reading practice that our kids do, and we have specific goals per grade for all our students. The next area in goal setting that I want to share with you all is our CTE program, and this is part of our college and career readiness. Last year, for example, at La Jolla High School, our goal was that we were going to issue, or that students were going to earn 422 industry certificates that fall under the Carl Perkins, which is a federal grant, and we had 412 certificates earned. So our goal for La Jolla High School for this year in that category is 453 certificates. Then there's a different category, still industry certifications that are awarded, and these are under the state accountability system. And you can see, for example, that at La Jolla High School, our goal was that we were going to have issued 217 certificates. Our kids actually earned 307, and so our goal is 338. And there you see the goal for each of our high schools. The next area that I would like to call your attention to is ACT, SAT, and that is on page 11. The last taper report, we had 73% of our 11th and 12th graders take an ACT or an SAT, and of course, for this year, our goal is that 100% of our kids are going to take that. Our SAT average score was 976. Our goal for this year is 986. Our average ACT score was 16.5, and our goal is 16.8 for this year. The next measure that I would like to share with you is that at the last taper report, the number or the percent of our 11th and 12th grade students that participate in at least one AP course. And for example, at La Jolla High School, we had 42% of our 11th and 12th graders participating in at least one AP course. And this year, our goal is 52. And so you see for Juarez Lincoln, we had 25, and our goal is 35, 44% at Palmview, and our goal is 54%. Those are some of the measures under Goal 1 that we will be targeting. There are others, but this is just a section of the ones that are in our DIP and board. You will approve these when you approve the November campus improvement plans and district improvement plan.
Can you tell us a little bit of what the executive directors, along with Magda Villarreal, are doing with the principals to support their campuses?
Yes, in our district, thank you for asking that question, Ms. Ochoa. In our district, we have what we call the Principal Support Plan. And the Principal Support Plan has, I believe, 16 different activities. One of them, for example, is that after every reporting period, like a 6 weeks or a benchmark, executive directors have principal meetings where they compare their performance to their goals. So that's one of them. Another one is the Curriculum and Instruction Department does what we call learning walks, or where we have, for example, representatives from special ed, from the bilingual department, from our content area departments, and they do walks, classroom walkthroughs with the principal to give principals feedback and to improve teacher performance. So we do have that plan that we implement, and like I said, there's 16 different activities that the Curriculum and Instruction Department conducts to make sure that we're on target with our goals. Thank you, Ms. Ochoa.
Thank you. We'll move on to the last discussion item, discussion of pricing results and resolution of 2019-10 concerning tax maintenance bond series 2019.
We have Dr. Miguel de los Santos, financial advisor, that's going to talk to us about this item.
Thank you very much, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Sainz. It's always a pleasure to be in La Jolla. I was here for 8 years. We were reminiscing a while ago, back from 79 to 87. Some of you were still in your mother's wombs back then, and others of you were probably in elementary school. But we have a very, very good, fond memory, my family and I, of this school district. And now I have the privilege to work with Hinojosa and company out of Dallas. We have the privilege of serving as your financial advisor. What we're here to do tonight is bring to you, we priced these bonds. You will get into your project fund $35,281,000, I believe, or something like that. And we priced these bonds yesterday. We got verbal approval from administration. Of course, the approval is not official until the board takes action, and that is what we're here tonight. There's a book here with 18 pages. I'm going to go through some of these pages very quickly and go straight, spend most of my time with you on the actual pricing, the results, the interest rate, and the payments that you're going to be making to borrow this money. If you go to page 3, the financing team, of course, the most important part of the team here is the issuer, which is the district. We serve as your financial advisor, Estrada Hinojosa and Company. Mr. Perez from the Perez Law Firm serves as your bond counsel. And then there are a number of other persons and organizations, firms, that need to be involved in order for the transaction to be executed correctly. On the next, and please stop me at any point if you have any questions. On the next page, just as a matter of information, the market, what it would look like yesterday. If you'll just look at that chart that goes up and down, that's what the market does over time. And if you'll notice, it's not at the lowest that it's ever been, but it was in pretty good shape. And I'll discuss the interest rate with you in a moment. The transactions there on the left are the transactions that were executed yesterday by other school districts and other entities across the state. The next page is probably the most important page for you. If you will look at it, it's the actual numbers as they are shown to you. The par of $30,980,000 is the actual amount of loan that will go into your books. That's what you owe. Although, if you look a little bit further down where it says project fund, you will actually be getting to operate with $35,218,031. That is what we wanted to make sure it got into the project fund so that you can do the things that you want to accomplish. The way that you get more than what you owe is that when people lend you money and the market is good and your bond rating is good, folks will lend you bonds at a premium. That means that instead of giving you $1 per bond, they'll give you $1.05 or $1.03 and so on, and it amounts to a premium, so you get more money than what you're actually borrowing, what's actually going into your books. If you look at the two, we had run the numbers on the left-hand side as a pre-financing, test the market a couple of weeks ago, and it tested fairly well. We had a 2.93 interest rate. The shaded column in blue is the actual numbers that are before you tonight for approval. Notice where it says 7-year call. 7-year call is very important. It means that in 7 years, in 2027, the district will be able to look at the interest rate, see what the market is like, and if the interest rates are in your favor, you refinance these bonds in 7 years. And when you refinance the bonds, if the interest, you could end up saving several $1 million more in interest as a part of the refinancing. You've had refinancings in the past. We have done one for you, and in which you saved several $1 million in 2017. So the bottom line is, the other important thing here is, notice that in 2020, you have a payment of $1,067,000. Initially, when we went to the market, we went out that you would not have any payments at all in 2020, that your first payment would be February of 2021. And we could have done that, except that last week when we tested the market, we realized that if you did that, you were going to end up spending about $600,000 more on these bonds than you needed to. So we communicated with the superintendent and with Mr. Trevino and said, look, if you put in $1 million up front in 2020, over the life of the bond, you're going to save $600,000. And they agreed that we should do that. And I think one of the things you're going to see this evening also is an amendment, because you didn't have it budgeted, an amendment to put in the $1 million in there to make your first payment a little bit earlier than you were going to in the first place, in order to save a large amount in the long run. Down the line, you see your payments are going to be every year for 18 years, $2,490,000 or so. So as opposed to what we had predicted in the past, $2,590,000, the interest rates at 2.81 is a very good interest rate in this market. In the market that we are today, it's a good time to be borrowing money. The next page is simply a page that shows what you owe. On the left-hand side, that is all the debt that you owe. The highlighted yellow is the bonds that we're looking at right now. The rest of them are bonds outstanding from past bond issues that the district has made. If you look at the bar chart, at the very top is a little gray part. That is the debt that you're adding to the debt that you currently hold. So that takes you to about $240 million of debt in the school district, which is about average for most school districts in relation to the enrollment that you have. We have next the front page of the preliminary official statement. That is a book that we prepared along with staff. And by the way, at this time, I'd like to thank Dr. Sainz and Mr. Trevino and Mr. Lopez, because this is a task. It's a major task, and they were very, very responsive, and we were able to do this fairly efficiently. At the end of the transaction, when everything is said and done, about another 20, 30 days, you will get a final official statement. It'll be a book of about 60, 70 pages, and it's all you ever wanted to know about La Joya ISD finances. So, and then I'm sorry, the last part of the book is upside down, but it is, we had your bonds rated, we had your district finances rated by Standard & Poor's, one of the 3 rating agencies that rate credits, and you have an A+ credit. It's not the highest credit, so we bought insurance for you at a very minimal rate, about $30,000, $40,000, to get you up to a AA credit, and as a consequence, one of the reasons that the interest rate is especially low. I won't go over it. There are some good comments from S&P about the management part. It also covers the economy of the area. Usually districts down here don't do well in that section because the economy of the valley is not, the economy of Houston or the economy of other big cities. But as far as the district's part in getting a financial rating, It is very complimentary to you, and I won't go over it, but I would say it's in your hands. You can read to whatever extent you wish to. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to address them. If not, Mr. Perez will be talking a little bit about a resolution. In order for this transaction to be executed, then the board would have to take action on a resolution that bond counsel has prepared. And, with your permission, he can come up and tell you what it is. And I think there's an action item a little bit later on to that effect.
Not a question, but just a comment to the board that on Section C, Business and Finance, item number 9, that is for your approval if you do want to do that expedited payment of the $1 million in 2020 that Dr. De Los Santos spoke about.
For savings with the district.
Yes, that one is the one that's going to give us the 600 and something thousand savings.
I think it's
But,
680.
it is there for you all to vote on that first payment.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. De Los Santos.
Thank you.
Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Sáenz, again, my name is Ricardo Perez, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as bond counsel for the district. If you remember, we sent a resolution back in the latter part of July of this year where we seek the authority to go forward with this maintenance tax notes. From that day until yesterday, like Dr. De Los Santos said, it's a group of team that's worked together to put an official statement, an official document out there. We got insurance for your notes, we got a rating for your notes, and we got a group of underwriters. Your notes were sold yesterday. The underwriters have bought the notes, and they're holding the price till today. And that's why we're here before you. And we have this resolution for approval. That resolution gives us the authority to accept the financing and move forward with closing this transaction. I believe this transaction is scheduled to close in November the 7th. And on that day is when y'all will get funded your money. And the only thing that we need to do to go forward is we need an action or vote on under Section 8, Contracts number 9, to approve the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Thank you.
Before we move on, I just want to go ahead and acknowledge and recognize two individuals that are in our audience right now. One of them was our presenter that came in, Mr. Miguel De Los Santos and Filomena Leo. It's not often that we have two people in the same room that led La Joya SD for such a long time and brought us to where we are right now, from a very small school district, one of the smallest in the valley, to one of the largest right now. And we just want to give you thanks and credit for all the work that you put in and the blood, sweat, and tears and the times that you were here, because we understand that it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job what you all did, and we just want to say that we're very grateful and extend our gratitude for your service to our district.
Thank you, Mr. Garza.
With that, we'll move on to public comments, and we do have two today. First one that I will call will be Maria Nidia Benavides to the podium. Ms. Benavides, at this time, we would like to remind all speakers that your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Our board attorney will keep time. You are to deliver comments in a professional and courteous manner. You may not attack anyone by name, and you are expected to comport according to board policy, BED local. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You may begin.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone, to Dr. Sáenz, the board, assistant superintendents, the attorneys, and everyone here. I come with a very big concern. My grandkids, I come as a grandparent. My grandkids have stayed 5 times stranded. Yesterday, they had to walk to their home, which is more or less half a mile through El Pinto Road. When is this problem going to end? It was already 5:06 when I found out about the problem. I did try to call some of the board members. They were working. I did try to contact one of the assistant superintendents for that department. He did not answer. I left a message. I'm very concerned of our students, not only my grandkids, but our students here in La Joya. What is going to happen? When are we going to get those buses fixed? It's not your kids, but it's our kids that are staying left behind. When I have seen the agenda, and nowhere in the agenda does it say anything about the Transportation Department. What are we going to do about this matter? I want to know. And by today, I come by myself. Next time, I hope and pray to God that there will not be a second time. Because let's not wait for something bad to happen to our students, and where my family is also involved, to be able to move on this situation. So that is all I need from you, to please try to put in some money for more buses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll now call on Dr. Filomena Leo. Ms. Leo, you have 3 minutes. You may begin whenever you're ready.
I'm setting my time. Wouldn't you know it? Here we go. Board President Ms. Ochoa, board members, and Dr. Sines, thank you for this opportunity to come before you. I had not been here since 2006. Mr. Garza, thank you for your very gracious words. Yes, Dr. Los Santos and I were reminiscing before the board meeting, and I remembered that my first year in teaching was in this building upstairs, and in fact, my second year in teaching, Dr. Sines was a student in one of my classes.
Yes.
It is heartwarming to come back and to be able to be here with what I think is very exciting news. With me, and I'll ask her to stand because she's shy, but with me is your Hidalgo County Treasurer, Lita Leo, who is a 1996 graduate of La Jolla High School. And we are here representing the family of William Billy Leo, also a proud graduate of this district. He was so very, very proud of the La Jolla School District and the city of La Jolla that later in life, when his health began weakening, I tried convincing him to move to McAllen, where we would be closer to doctors and hospitals. He said, never, never. And so it was. He never left his beloved La Jolla. When he did a year and a half ago, and in discussion with our 5 children, all of whom are graduates of the La Jolla Independent School District, and I proudly served this district for 38 years, we came to agreement that a foundation should be formed to honor his memory. And so Lita took the initiative, and we got approval from the Secretary of State in Texas to form the William Billy Leo Foundation, which I am here to announce. We will be holding the first fundraiser the first weekend in November. The motto of this foundation is that we will continue the legacy of service which he gave all of his life to this community and to this school district, and that we are committed to raising money so that we can provide scholarships at each of the high schools starting this May 2020 in his honor and in his memory. The first fundraiser will be a cook-off. I'm inviting all of you to drop by, join us, and inviting all of you to donate, if you wish, to the William Billy Leo Foundation. It is our hope that truly we will be able to provide many scholarships in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Leo.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move on to the rest of the agenda.
I'm sorry, we're just leaving copies of the
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I entertain a motion for approval for all items under consent agenda?
Also move.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Mr. Garza. Any discussions? All in favor? All against? Motion passes. We will go now under items number 7, under contracts. Can I entertain a motion for approval for of continuation of software maintenance updates and support agreement of Enrollment Incorporation for 2019-2020 academy school year. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. I have a motion by Mr. Garza, second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any discussion? Motion passes. Approval of memorandum of understanding between Advancing Together and La Jolla ISD. Can I entertain a motion for approval?
Also move.
Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Garza. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Approval of memorandum of understanding between Passages Counseling Group and La Jolla ISD. Do I hear a motion for approval of these items?
Also move.
Do I have a second? Okay, I'll go back to number 3 right now. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor?
Aye.
All
I do
opposed?
want to add something on some of these MOUs. I just think that it's a good thing that they're doing for our district, giving us the resources and helping our kids and our employees with this. And of course, it's at no cost to the district, so it's a no-brainer. So I want to just thank all of them for giving us and helping us with the services.
Thank you, Mr. Cantu.
Thank you, Mr. Cantu. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We'll go back to number 3 on contracts, approval of memorandum of understanding between Buckner Children and Family Services Incorporated and La Jolla ISD. Do I
Second.
have a motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, approval of mathematics for teaching collaborative, a proposal for collaboration between the Texas Graduate Center, Harvard University, and La Jolla ISD cohort for year 3.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 6, approval of collaborative agreement between La Jolla ISD and Regional School for the Deaf. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Second.
I had a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second by Ms. Hernandez. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of memorandum of understanding between La Jolla ISD and Texas Department of Public Safety. Do I
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of memorandum of understanding between South Texas Health System Behavioral and La Jolla ISD. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu, second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 9, approval of resolution of 2019-10 authorizing the issuance of La Jolla ISD maintenance of tax notes, Series 2019, providing for the payment of such maintenance notes, specifying the term and features of said maintenance notes, and resolving other matters incident or related to the issuance of sale, payment, and delivery of said maintenance notes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Under bids, number 1, professional staff development, CSP, number 2020.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. Number 2, awards and incentives, RFP 2020-03. Do I have a motion?
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu and a second by Ms. Ochoa. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Under band and orchestra, instruments, equipment, and related supplies, RFP 2020-04.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Fine Arts Performance Groups, RFP 2020-05. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa, second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Vision Voluntary Insurance Competitive Sealed Proposal 2017-101. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Under Business, application for payment of engineering fee number 1 for the roof renovations project at Irene Middle School. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Application and certificate for payment of contractor fees number 5 for La Joya ISD 1M Seguin Elementary Chiller Replacement Project. Do I hear a motion for approval? Do I have a motion for this project?
So moved.
Okay, I thought somebody had, I'll second, Mr. Garza. I thought I heard somebody motion.
So I have a motion by Mr. Garza, second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Application for payment of engineering fees number 2 for La Joya ISD 1 and Seguin Elementary Chiller Replacement Project. Do I have a motion?
Also move.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas, second by
Second.
Mr. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Application of payment of engineering fees number 3 for La Joya ISD Irene M. Garcia Middle School HVAC renovations project. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Salinas. Can I hear a second?
Second.
By Mr. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. TASB Legal Seminar for School Board Members and Superintendent of Schools to attend in South Padre Island, Texas on November 16, 2019. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu and a second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Region 1 School Nutrition Product Expo for School Board Members and Superintendent of Schools to attend in South Padre Island,
So moved.
Texas.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza and a second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Number 7, donation of billboard to support the PAC by La Joya High School class of 1966. Do I
So
hear?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantu and a second by Ms. Ochoa. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and possible action to authorize administration to negotiate, reevaluate commission rate with La Joya ISD agent of record.
I have a question on this item. I don't know who it's for, probably. Is there any way that this can postpone the enrollment or affect employees' benefits or any? Right, or can it affect the benefits? Okay. Are any of those rates or commissions maybe mandated by the, how many employees are enrolled or anything like that? Or are any of these rates maybe based on how many people are enrolled, anything like this? So you're saying that it shouldn't delay or affect benefits for our employees? Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ochoa. Can I hear a motion? I entertain a motion for approval of this item. A second? Motion by Mr. Garza, second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Number 9, discussion of ratification of expended debt service payment to ensure long-term savings for La Joya ISD. Can I entertain a motion for approval? Discussion and ratification of expended debt service payment to ensure long-term savings for La Joya
Is it all right if we
ISD?
pull this item out up? And take it into executive session to have a further discussion?
I don't see why not. I think so. We can discuss it in executive session and then come back and vote on it after executive session? Yes.
Okay, we will pull this item into executive session. Can I have a motion? Mr. Garza? Mr. Garza and Ms. Hernandez, all in favor? Those opposed? We will take this into executive session.
Item number 10 is related to number 9, because if number 9 was approved, then we'd need to amend the budget, so this one will need to wait also.
Okay, can I entertain a motion so we can take it into executive session?
I think you already got it, so move from Mr.
I got number 9, but I need another one for number 10.
Okay, then also move on that one.
And so I have a motion by Mr. Salinas and a second with Mr. Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? We will take this into executive session too. We will go on to, under Human Resources, public hearing and approval of salary adjustments regarding payments in excess. At this time, we will move into item number 1, which is public hearing and approval of salary adjustments for regarding payments in excess of contractual amount. This item requires a public hearing. Therefore, it is now 7:05 p.m., and we open the public hearing.
Let me just say that this payments right here are for CTE teachers at the high schools and CTE administrators, and it's to offer these classes during the evening for students that maybe do not have time in their schedule during the day or are on a flexible schedule. And so they're high school CTE teachers and CTE administrators. It's a total of 12 staff members, and the total amount is $32,400.
Also move, if
I second. To approve.
Anything
Need to
for the
come out of
public
hearing.
to say? Okay, it is 7:06, and we will close public hearing. We will consider the item. Okay, I had a motion by Ms. Ochoa and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
I think I seconded Mr. Salinas' motion.
it was
Oh, okay.
Mr.
Ms.
Salinas
Ochoa
makes the
secondly.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ochoa. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Public hearing approval of salary adjustments and regarding payment and access of contractual amount. This too needs to be in public hearing, therefore it is now 7:06, and we will open the public hearing.
This item right here is for Chapa Elementary, which is one of our RICE grant campuses. And this is so that this staff member, who is the grant manager assistant, can receive a stipend of $2,000 for the year for extra duties regarding the RICE grant.
Any questions? If not, it is 7:07,
Also move.
and the public hearing is now closed. We will consider the item. And it was moved by Mr. Salinas. Do I hear a second? Ms. Ochoa? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Under number 3, Human Resources, Texas Teacher Evaluation Support, T-Test Appraisers. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ochoa and a second by Mr. Salinas. All in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. We will go into executive session at 7:07 under Texas Code 5510071, 5510072, 5510074 at 7:07. You're out of executive session at 8:05.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion for items 9 and 10 under tab C, under Business and Finance, that we pulled for legal opinion.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Garza. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Ms. Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We will go into H on personnel.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 1 through 4 as discussed in executive session.
Second that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Garza and a second by Ms. Ochoa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We will adjourn at 8:05. Thank you, everyone.